right, just started broadcasting. Am I live? Let's see if I'm live. Right, it's starting. What is going on, everybody? Got this new setup right here. Let me get this. Yes. All right, so it's pulled up. We are live. Thank goodness. At least that is working. What's up, Nicholas Smith? What's up, everybody? So first things first, I need y'all to let me know audio and all that other stuff. Another difference is the stream. I just moved the mic, so I'm sorry if that was loud. But another difference would be, is the stream lagging at all? Because I have a different internet connection. What is going on? So Russell, Jawdon, the J Brothers, Jimmy Martin, Noob's Perspective, William Gentry, T Smizzy, Cynthia. What's up, Cynthia? Sunday Plays, J Don. What's going on, everybody? So everything sounds good. Everything's good. Everything's good. Sounds well. Looks good. No lag. All right, good. That is something I was worried about because my old apartment, before I moved to this place, because I don't know if you can tell that the internet is different. Before I moved to this place, I had fiber, which is a lot faster than this internet, which has only got upload speeds of like 25 megs a second. So, yeah. What's up, Andrew? Everything's doing good. I just got a lot going on at the moment. You know, got my work, got this YouTube stuff, trying to get back into the groove of everything, and then got the wedding coming up, planning the wedding. That all seems great. It's all going good. You love Google Fiber. Yeah, I had AT&T Fiber. AT&T Fiber was fine for me. Google Fiber would be fine. I don't think Fiber would have an issue with anybody because having Fiber is different than just normal internet connection. But anyway, so yeah, this is the new setup, right? It's still a work in progress. I still got to put my baseball bat. This is like a little trophy thing for my senior year of baseball. I got to put that up on the wall. And then I got to put my sword up over here. And I just noticed that you can see my AR down here. I want to hang that up over here as well. So I got a little bit of setting up to do. What's up, Christy? Hey, Christy. All right. You need to change your resolution, which is not supported for this camera. Huh. I think I'm streaming 4K, but then it says I can't stream 4K. So, again, let me know if anything happens with the stream. Because this is almost kind of like an experiment stream. This is the first weekend I'm here. And so, anyways. I'm so happy for you and your fiance. Thank you. I'm trying to get her on a live stream. Hopefully she'll be on one soon. Isaac Stone. Do you have any advice to get my body fat percentage down? I got sent back from MEPS because of it. And because I need glasses, right? So body fat, I mean... So really general tips is honestly just weight loss stuff, but it really just depends on what you've been doing. Have you actually been doing anything to try and lose that body fat? Have you been watching the calories that you're eating? Have you been watching what you're drinking? Have you been watching any special late night snacks or whatever that you're not taking account for? Little things like that will, slow down your weight loss. And then if you are doing something, like, are you really taking it seriously? That's just really the tips, especially in just real general. Like, what are you doing? And if you are doing something, are you really taking it as seriously as you should be? But yeah, anyways, guys, just normal. Now that the stream and everything looks good and everything, we're just going to get doing a normal Q&A. And we're just going to do it until probably about 8 o'clock my time, so about 40 minutes or so. Chris Ward, what's popping? I'm doing a live stream. What happens when you join as an officer? Quentin Johnson. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but basically when you join as an officer, you're either doing ROTC, OCS, or you're doing like an academy like West Point, right? So if you do ROTC or West Point, then that means that really your first time actually in the military is whenever you become that second lieutenant. You do a bunch of Army stuff, and it's kind of like being in the Army. It's more like kind of like being in like the Reserves or National Guard while you're in the ROTC or whatever. But, if you do OCS, obviously you're enlisting first. But it's basically joining the military as an officer, it's completely different than joining as enlisted. If you think about it like this, like from a real high up perspective, if you're enlisted, if it's your first day on the job, it's just like, oh, okay, it's that person's first day, go meet some people, whatever. No big deal, no pressure, you got nothing to do. You might see some people be like, oh, that's it, guy's first day or whatever, he's fresh out of AIT. But then you got lieutenants, and you got fresh lieutenants who are just joining, and it's like a lot of responsibilities thrown on you out the gate. You got to try to hit the ground running as fast as possible. If you don't, then you're going to fall behind. Immediately you have people looking at you, grading you, being like, hey, or you got to think to yourself, like all these people that are rating you, if you screw up and when you do stuff bad or if you do stuff good, they're going to basically write that on your OER. And so there's a lot more stress, there's a lot more responsibility immediately, like the first day that you join as an officer. So that's a big, big difference. I just want to say hi from Puerto Rico, Jaft34. Hey, Puerto Rico, wow. Yo, Matt, is that an officer's sword in the back? No. So as far as I know, I don't know all the Army tradition stuff on that, but basically that is a trophy. From what I'm aware, is technically because I was awarded that, I could wear that, but I'm not gonna wear that. But you'll see a lot of time, like Cav Scouts and stuff, they will have those on very, very formal dinners and Army balls and stuff like that. But yeah, so it's got a little loop where I can have it, but it's technically a trophy. So like the same trophy that I got for winning this little Army competition, and yeah, I got a trophy for this right here. So winning a Best Warrior competition, winning a Soldier of the Year for a command over there. And that sword is really cool. It's engraved and all that. So what if you were to go bald? I hope I'm not going to go bald. I don't think I'm going to go bald because nobody in my family goes bald, and going bald is hereditary. So, YouTube limits up to max of 1440p. You can't stream 4K. Well, I guess it's downgrading it, because what I did is I switched it to 4K just to see, and then I forgot to switch it off to 4K when I did the live stream. But I mean, if it's fine as of right now, we're just going to leave it, and we're not going to start the live stream over. Hello from Iowa. Christy, I'm just seeing this because I'm keeping the chat frozen so I can actually read stuff. But I'm trying to get Kelly in here. Hey, babe, can you hear me? Can you turn the AC on? Yeah. It's getting hot in here. Because I got the door shut. There's no air circulation and everything. So Matt say rip Gunny. I guess that's a thing, and I guess I said it, and I didn't know. Do I know anything about morale waivers? No. Oh gosh, there's a lot of questions. Where can I ask the questions to be recognized? Greg Santana, that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is super chats. I obviously can't answer every question, but I always try to answer all the super chat questions. Just graduated from basic training on the 8th from Fort Jackson. Now I'm at AIT at Fort Lee. My brother, I think, is he at Fort Lee? Is that the base that he's at? I think my brother's there. We just snapped her. Where is she? She's in the other room. Were you at Echo 551 at Fort Gordon during AIT? Yes, I was Echo 551. Whoever asked before, I highly recommend ASVAB for Dummies. I'm not sure what that is. I've never actually looked at that book. Like I say in my ASVAB video, I didn't actually study for the ASVAB. So it's hard for me to give tips on studying for the ASVAB because I didn't study for the ASVAB and I did well on the ASVAB. So it's hard to give tips on something. And that's one of the things that a lot of times, like, a good person to ask for tips is the person who struggled through things. What was the one video that I did with about RASP, I did a video about RAS, the Ranger Assessment Selection Program, with somebody who's been through RAS twice and failed it twice, and failed the last time and the last little bit. And I think that he was a great person to do the video with, because he could tell you guys some of the things that he struggled with and some of the things that he saw. Because if you go through something and you kind of fly by and nothing seems difficult, or you take the ASVAB and it just isn't hard at all, it's hard for you to tell somebody how they can study for it if you didn't study, you know. So what kind of job can I get with a 78 ASVAB? Pretty much everyone, or anyone I think you can get. Yeah. Sorry, I'm texting Kelly right now. They make it difficult, or no, I'm not sure. My legs are jacked up from muscles. What can I? My legs are jacked up from running. What can I do to relieve my muscles? AL. So a couple things. If you do have like muscle issues from running in your legs, I do recommend the KT tape thing. It's actually pretty cool. I actually have some in here, and you can look up some like YouTube tutorials on where to put it if you're hurting in a certain area, and basically it kind of relieves a little bit of tension. And it'll stay on for a couple of days. So I do recommend that. And then other than that, it would just depend, I guess, on where you're at. You know, should you just rest it? Should you stretch it out? I'm not sure. You should try maybe all of the above. A little bit of rest, a little bit of stretching, a little bit of KT tape. Gosh, there's so many comments. Is National Guard basically the exact same as active duty Army? Do you know how Fort Sill is? Fort Sill, I haven't heard anything good about Fort Sill really. But yeah, I do have a video on that as well. And basic training is the exact same for National Guard, active duty, and Army Reserves. All the initial training, all the training in general, pretty much across the board. When you are in the military, when you go to some kind of schooling, right, which would be considered basic training, AIT, you know, your airborne schools, your schools that when you want to become an NCO, like BLC, ALC, SLC for officers, like I went Bullock. All those schools are pretty much across the board. National Guard, Army Reserves, active duty are all going to be trained the same, which is pretty good, because which is good and bad at the same time. It's good because everybody gets trained the same, but then sometimes, like for us at Bullock, which if you guys don't know, Bullock is basic officer leadership course, which I just graduated from, and they gave us like mentors that were captains. So we're lieutenants. They gave us mentors that were captains, but my group of 5, there was 4 of us that were either National Guard or Army Reserves, and only 1 active duty was in my group of 5, and we had an active duty captain. And life in the reserves, National Guard versus active duty is a lot different, obviously, than active duty, especially being an officer, because you're in charge of a whole bunch of stuff. So that made it a little bit more difficult, I guess. So, but it is good that we all get trained the same in those big trains. Will you do a video on military bearing? Breezy B, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. Having your military bearing is just, you know, making sure you're, basically it's really simple. It's like behave, don't do stupid stuff in formation. You know, whenever you go out and about, like act like a soldier. And I mean, there's not really like, you know, what does military bearing look like? It's more like you have the Army values, and then are you abiding by the Army values? And a lot of times in general, people, especially like in training environments, like, you know, don't lose your military bearing, but they're talking about like being in formation and like moving at attention. It's like, oh, you're losing your military bearing, which is true, but a lot of times it's really just like act like a soldier, and a soldier is responsible, they're caring for other people, they're polite, they put other people before themselves, right? And you know, the whole selfless service thing. So Army values, that's your military bearing basically. I do want to do a video. basically kind of just told you guys. And people like, what is it to be a soldier? Is a soldier a person who shoots guns a lot? Well, that's not the case. If that were the case, then technically 95% of the military in general is not like a soldier. A soldier is more like a certain person who acts a certain way and they hold a certain values, right? That is how they act. So, what's she saying? Hey Matt, can I join a reserve without losing a semester of college? If you wanted to join then without missing any schooling, then you could do the split ops program. Why being brain? I got a question. So, Chill Tactics, you got a $40,000 bonus in your contract. Do I get all that at once, or is it broken up by year? Again, another thing I got a video on, but basically, for the Army, it's different with other branches, but for the Army, after AIT, you're going to get half of it, which will be $20,000 in your case. That is going to get taxed. After you get taxed, you're probably going to end up with somewhere around, I would say, like $15,000, $16,000 or so is what I would expect for you to actually get. And then every 2 years from your enlistment date, so if you're active duty, 2 years after your first day of basic training, you're going to get a quarter of your bonus. So you're going to get half of it after AIT. Then 2 years after your enlistment date, you're going to get a quarter of it, which is going to be about $8,000 after taxes. And then you're going to get, actually be about, I guess it would be about $7,000. And then 2 years after that, so after 4 years from your basic training date, you're going to get the last quarter. And if your reserves are National Guard, you're going to get it a little bit probably earlier because it's going to be from the date that you swear in, not necessarily the date that you went to basic training, because those are different, and I've covered all of that in the past. Can you explain the process, if possible, from changing from a regular service member to an officer? I have a 5-year contract. Is it possible? I'm Canadian Army, so probably a bit different, but no info. Drinks, I have no clue whatsoever about the Canadian military or any other military whatsoever on, especially ranking up and things like that. But I can tell you for the Army, U.S. Army side, I do have videos on how to become an officer. I think I have a playlist. It's like how to become an officer. So you can look at that, and there's different routes that you can take. If you already have a 5-year contract for the U.S. Army, that would mean that you're going to have to do OCS, which would mean that you're going to basically have to enlist. And then after about 3 years, 4 years or so, then you can submit a packet, which is basically paperwork, to try and get accepted into an officer program, aka OCS. So that's how you could do that in our Army. And we got our first super chat over here, Wolf MSI Gaming. Thank you so much for spreading your knowledge. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's pretty much what I'm trying to do, is literally everything that I can think of that somebody might want to know. I'm trying to do a video on it. That's pretty much the goal, is if you have a question, I want to try and answer it. Some questions I can't answer because I don't have the experience to answer it, but I'm trying. Okay. Tactical JY, I have a question. I want to join Army Special Forces, either Green Beret or Ranger. Rangers aren't necessarily Special Forces. They're like Special Ops, whatever, but it's not Special Forces. Special Forces is specifically Green Berets. Will going to college help with either? And if so, should I study? No, I would say that no, it's not going to help at all. If you want to be in the Special Forces, then the likelihood of you making it in Special Forces on your initial enlistment is a lot lower. Just because, like, you're just now getting into the military, you're not going to have all of, like, the land navigation experience that you need, because you're going to need to be a pro at land nav if you're trying to do that. So you're not going to have all that experience that you need. You're not going to really just have as much military experience as you need in general to just excel as special forces, because you have to get selected for that, right? So the likelihood is a lot lower. It's still possible. College, in my opinion, is not going to help you out in that selection process. They're going to judge you more off of your ability to be a good soldier and operate in special forces environment and all that stuff, rather than what college degree you have. Army Rangers, same thing. You enlist, you go to RAS, they don't care. You get selected, they don't really care what college degree you have. Your college degree will help you with promotions, right? With your promotions, and because college gives you promotion points, right? But it's not going to help you in the selection process. So if your goal is to go special operations, whether that's Rangers or Special Forces, then do that. The best route, in my opinion, would be, I guess you'd have to really think about yourself. Like, do you really, are you really thinking that you're ready to go Special Forces right now? If you are, then try to get that in your enlistment contract for Special Forces. But if not, a great way to go Special Forces will be to try to go RAS, go into the 75th Ranger Regiment after a couple of years, then try to switch to Special Forces if that's something that you want to do. And your likelihood of succeeding at that point is going to be way higher. So we got another super chat, $2.99 super chat, and they said pickles. Oh man. And we got a new member, Kakarot329. Kakarot. I totally did not say that right. But thank you, I appreciate that. New members over here. YouTube's added some new stuff. I haven't turned it on yet, but I will be soon. Okay, so Kelly sent me a screenshot of a question that I missed, and that is from Carly Shea. My boyfriend and I want to join the Army. Only concern is getting split due to being stationed in different places. I have looked into married couples program, possible to stay close and not marry. To stay close and not marry, Matt Ward. No, if you are not married, it's going to be a lot harder for them to guarantee that you're going to stay together. Obviously, you can enroll in the buddy system, and that's going to guarantee that you're going to be together through basic training and AIT. I don't believe that guarantees that you are together after AIT, which means that y'all could get stationed on different parts of the world. If you enlist and you're married, right, then that does guarantee that you are, I would say, 90% chance going to be stationed on the same base. You're probably not going to be in the same unit, unless maybe you have the same MOS or whatever. But if you're married and you join, almost guaranteed you're going to be on the same base. If you're not, they do at least guarantee that you're going to be within a short driving distance of a base, right? So there might be two bases that are close together. In some extreme circumstances, they might have you be farther away, but they do definitely try to accommodate for you to be on the same base, right? Because contrary to what a lot of people probably think, the military is really big on family and making sure that your family is set up, that you're good to go. Because if your family situation is not right, if you get deployed, if you're having issues at home, then you're going to be less effective overseas. So they really do want to accommodate you the best you can. And if they have two people married and they send you off in different places, you're not going to probably be able to operate as effectively. So they are going to try and best help you out there. As long as the watch is black. I'm not sure what somebody said. Savage Patch Matt, what's going on? It is going good for me. I do want to do a Call of Duty live stream at some point soon, because the new Call of Duty beta is coming out. So that is something that I'm definitely looking forward to doing. And probably this week I might do a Call of Duty live stream, because just gotta get used to it. I picked up the controller earlier and it just felt weird. Like, I just haven't held a controller in a while and it just feels weird. Matt, when's the last time you considered going active duty, if at all? I considered going active duty whenever I was enlisting. I kind of did reserves, and I was like, there's a chance that I go reserves and I might want to switch to active duty later, because that's definitely a possibility. And then like I've talked about in all of my videos about why I didn't go active duty, essentially I have other passions, and reserves is the best way for me to fulfill all of those passions, especially with one of them now being YouTube. It would be hard to be active duty and do YouTube at the same time. Still want to get deployed and all that stuff, but as you guys can probably see from the other military YouTubers out there that are active duty, they're all getting out now, right? So I'm staying in, I'm reserves. It's a lot easier for me to stay in and do civilian things like make YouTube videos at the same time, right? So this helps me to stay in. If I were to go active duty and try to do not only military, it's more than like a 40-hour work week. So let's say I'm trying to do like a 50, sometimes 60-hour work week. Sometimes I'm gone for a couple of weeks. And then on top of that, I'm trying to do YouTube and make that succeed. So a lot of respect for all the other military YouTubers out there who are active duty currently, because it's definitely a struggle. And we got Vociferous with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And you said, thank you so much for making great and helpful videos. Your videos have been super encouraging to help me decide to work my butt off to enlist. Good. Well, then my stuff is doing what it should be doing, right? So, I mean, this stuff should be motivating you guys. Some of my own videos have motivated myself in the past, right? So I understand how that works, and the more motivation you can kind of spread around, the better. And a little pro tip, if you want to stay motivated, you've just got to constantly fill your head with motivating stuff, like constantly every single day. Just have something motivational that you're listening to, something that's going to push you to keep on going. So a little pro tip, whether that's one of my push-up videos, whether that's another person's fitness videos, whether that's a motivational song or speech or whatever, definitely try to make that a habit to listen to positive motivational things on a daily basis. So many comments. It's just narrow width push-ups are hard AF. Yeah, narrow width push-ups are definitely harder. One thing that I do want to mention from the last video that I did, right? So I obviously did the new closer grip push-up for my last 60-second push-up challenge video. I wanted to upload one today. Didn't really have as much time as I thought I was going to have to do one, to record one and edit one and whatever. But basically, something that y'all need to keep in mind when you're doing close grip push-ups is when you do them, people have a much higher tendency to not extend, right? So if here's your arms, right? Normal push-up, you might go down in here. But on a close grip push-up, people have a tendency to stop right about here. So they go down and they stop right about here. Because it kind of feels the range of motion. So obviously you think about geometry and stuff like that. So if your arms are out wider, you're not going to have as much range of motion to go down, so you can do push-ups faster. And when you have your hands directly under your shoulders, like you're going to have for the ACFT, the range of motion for that push-up is literally as long as it's going to be. So the push-up feels a lot longer, so people have a tendency to make the range of motion a lot shorter. Okay? So don't do that. People are going to do that, and they're not necessarily fully push-ups, right? So you have to still try your best to, so like my arm kind of looks extended. Technically, I can do that, but you don't want to do that. You want to get to like right here, right before your joints are basically locking out like that. So you want to get here, here, here. Okay, you don't want to do that. I'm trying to look at myself. But anyways, that's my little pro tip for that. If you're doing close grip push-ups, remember, it's a longer range of motion, so it's harder. The push-ups are going to take longer, so you're not going to get to do as much in a 60-second push-up challenge like I've talked about in the past. K Karat 326, the new member. 19 years old, 6 foot, and weigh 220 pounds. How much weight should I lose? 6 feet. So I'm 5'10", and my max weight for the Army standard, I think, is 185. So 2 more inches, I think your max weight is going to be somewhere around like maybe like 195 to 200. So you're probably going to end up having to lose close to 20 pounds to try to get that initial enlistment. But as soon as basically you enlist, you're going to get to you'll have to get taped if you don't maintain that. So let me figure that out. Army weight requirements. So if you are 6 feet, that's what, 72 inches. And, well, I guess it depends on your age, too. 72 inches, 195 if you're from age 21 to 27. Yeah, so 195. Oh, you said you're 19. Gosh, I forgot that. So 19, 22, 190 pounds. So because you're younger, you should basically have less body fat. So 190 pounds, so that means you got about 30 pounds to lose. You can definitely do it, especially being 19. The good thing that you have going for you is your metabolism is a lot faster now than it's going to be whenever you're like 25 years old or 30 years old. So make sure you let that work for you. Before talking to a recruiter. Oh, okay. So you're saying how much weight should you lose before talking to a recruiter? I would say maybe about 15 pounds or so. Get on that 200-pound line around there, and then you can probably talk to a recruiter, because you don't want to be so far off that they're just like, hey, come back later. How competitive / difficult is it getting into OCS? Jaleel Rilliford. So obviously I did ROTC. It's pretty competitive depending on what school that you go to, and that's what I've talked about, is with ROTC they only have so many slots available, and if they have 50 people wanting to be an officer and they only have 25 slots, then that means 25 people are either not going to become an officer, or they're going to have to wait until the next year, which would then push more competition to the next year, and then that all just rolls over and rolls over and rolls over. But as far as OCS goes, from what I hear, it is pretty competitive to do that. Now, still do it. You're going to get interviewed and all that stuff, but I would still recommend doing that. What's the weight limit for being 17 but your height is 4'6"? Are you really 4'6"? And goodness gracious. So 4'6". That's 48. Plus 6 inches is 54. It doesn't even go down to the minimum. So your minimum weight is 91 pounds. So 91 pounds, and then the maximum weight, there is no maximum weight apparently for being under 5 or 4'10". So if you're 4'6", it doesn't look like you could even get into the military, because that is very, very short. Now the reason for that, it's not that that's kind of like, oh my gosh, they're not letting short people in the military. It's that just because you're 4'6" or short does not mean that you're going to have to carry any less stuff. So if you weigh 120 pounds and then you have to carry 60 pounds of stuff, which is very, very common, then you're carrying 50% of your body weight. If you weigh 200 pounds and you have to carry 60 pounds of stuff, then you're carrying 30% of your body weight. So it is a big, big difference there. So that's one big thing. So you're going to be less effective. Shorter legs, you're not going to be able to ruck really as fast and everything. So there's a lot of disadvantages to being super, super short. I've seen really, really short people before. I don't know if I've ever seen 4'6" before. Any big differences in the 22-week OCS phase-wise? One station unit training. Yeah, I do want to do a video on the new one station unit training because they are doing more of an emphasis on different parts of basic training. Preferably, I would like to have somebody who's been through it before, or maybe even a drill sergeant or something. So that is definitely something I would like to do in the future for sure. As soon as the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to do that. But yeah, 22-week one station unit training, that is definitely a thing. And they're definitely doing some differences for it, which is why they're adding all those extra weeks in there for it. Have you thought about doing interviews on your channel with different MOSs? Yes, I've done a few different ones, but honestly with my brothers and with another one. And then I'm just not in an environment where I'm at right now, since I'm not on a military base all the time, to do that. And then a few people that I've asked have been too shy to do it. So, yeah. I'm in a little bit of a predicament right now, but really, it'll be coming. Hey, yo, I'm back. Carson from North Carolina. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate it. What's after AIT? Daniel Flynn, you go to your unit. If you're reserves, you go home. If you're National Guard, you go home and then you go to your drills. And if you're active duty, you're going to your unit or you're going to airborne school or something like that. What if we do buddy system and then marry after basic? Where did it go? Do you think they would still accommodate? If you did the buddy system and then married afterwards, then yes, they would still accommodate. But if you did get stationed in different places and then you got married, like, I'm pretty sure they're not going to like just switch unit. Like, they're not just going to switch you guys into a new base or unit or something that's more accommodating for you. So you would have to get married, you know, right after basic training, before going to basic training. But if you were to wait, then you have that chance of getting stationed in two completely different places. And obviously I don't know, because these are one of those things that I don't know, but I'm fairly confident that you would at least spend several months, if not the rest of your duty station time, maybe 2 years in different places, if you get in different places. I did not see your question. Look for the cross. That's a neat emoji. Where is it? I know you know some chaplains. When you see them next, can you ask them how large a typical class is at chaplain school? and if the report date depends on how many people commissioned. Yeah, I just took a picture of that, and I will ask a chaplain this weekend, Andrew. For sure. You're the man, and I will do that for you. How do I know which job in the Army is best for me? It's a difficult question. It's very, very difficult, because you don't know. You're never going to know. It's kind of like picking, I don't know, it's kind of like picking your career out of something that you're not really sure about. One of the reasons why I make these videos, one of the reasons why I should have more MOSs out there, and it gives you a better understanding. But basically, it's like picking a major for college. It's like, what am I interested in? What field am I interested in? And then go with that. If there's not anything like it, then you might want to try looking at a different branch of the military. But that's really it. You need to just look at what you're interested in, what you're willing to do. Do you like... Number one would be, do you want to be out in the field a lot? Do you want to be out in the woods a lot? Do you want to be, it's weird, but do you want to just go a long time out in the woods and live that lifestyle, or would you rather be inside and then sometimes go occasionally outside out in the woods? So those are the two differences. And then do you want to have a higher chance of combat or a lower chance of combat? Do you like technical things or non-technical things? Do you like planning or not planning? Those are all different things that you can think about, the kind of person that you are, the kind of career that you want, and then think about there's different jobs in the Army that are going to do that. Now, the sucky thing about the Army's website on the different MOSs is a lot of the wording is basically the same. It basically says you're going to do the same thing, honestly. It says you're going to operate, maintain, blah, 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 all this stuff. And it's got this big list of things that you are going to do, but you're not really going to do all that stuff. You might just get put in a unit that's going to focus on a small portion of those things. And then you might have somebody else who goes in and they're focusing on a different portion of those things. So it's a little bit difficult. But like I said, look at your interests and make an educated guess on what you're most interested in. For me, it was pretty easy. I like technology, and 25 Bravo was the one that best suited me. It's not exactly what I thought it was going to be because, I did more programming stuff and I want to do a little bit more computer hardware stuff, and it wasn't so much that. It was a lot of switches and routers and stuff. So, it's never going to be exactly what you expect, but I still really, really enjoyed it. Anyways. Are there any jobs in the U.S. military for a colorblind non-citizen? Well, you would have to be a citizen to be in the military, and I don't think you can join if you're colorblind. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think you can if you're colorblind. The best job in the Army is the job that you like the most. There is no best job in the Army. There is no best job in the military. There's no best job, whatever. Reason being is because my best job could be your worst job, right? And your best job could not be mine. Like I don't want to do that stuff, or you might not want to do whatever I want to do. So there is no best job in the military, in my opinion. Will bench pressing regularly be enough to get 100% on basic training PT test? I feel like doing both push-ups and benching will make my chest fatigued and not hit the bench press as good. Fury 255, in my opinion, no. If you only bench press, I do not think with a very high percent of certainty that you're going to be able to max, especially the new PT test coming up, especially that one. Reason being is you're doing completely different things, right? So when you're doing bench press, you're not doing, 75 repetitions. You're doing really at most 10, right? So you're doing different things. You're doing strength training rather than trying to get your fast twitch muscle fibers. You're trying to get the form down perfectly. It's really different. It's going to help you build the muscle, but you need to incorporate both of them together. You need to incorporate both of them together in order to get the best results. If you only do push-ups, your bench press isn't really going to go up. If you only do bench press, if you haven't done push-ups before, then your push-ups will go up before. But if you're only doing bench press, and let's say you can do 50 push-ups. Let's say you can do 50 push-ups with good form. And then you start only doing bench press. Well, your push-ups that you can do is either going to, it could really do going down. It could go down to 40. It could stay the same at 50. And maybe it could go up to 55, but you're not going to be maxing it out by doing that, in my opinion. But I'm pretty confident about that from personal experience and other people's experience. Reinvented 562 Cali. How many fingers am I holding up? If you lie to me and I get it right, then you're going to get banned from this YouTube channel. But I'm going to say you're holding up 3. 3. So let me know. What's your favorite war movie? I don't know if I have a favorite war movie. I don't really like the older war movies. I don't know what it is. It's just a personal preference for me that older movies, I just tend to see the flaws in certain things, and I'm just like, oh, that doesn't look right, or this or that, and I just see that, and it ruins the movie for me. Whenever I see worse effects or just things I don't get. But I really like the recent 13 Hours movie that came out a while back. American Sniper came out right before I enlisted in the military, so that movie is it's gonna be nice for me, because I remember I watched it honestly like over and over again, like before enlisting in the military, and it was kind of like a little motivational thing, like, oh, this is so cool. And I remember at some point thinking that I wanted to be a sniper, and then I laid in the prone position for hours and hours and hours at basic training with your weapon, and you're looking down the sights, and then I quickly realized, oh crap, I definitely don't want to be a sniper, because it's not comfortable. Can you bring your dogs with me if you live on post? I believe you can if you have a home, but if you have your... Oh, you're the one asking about the marriage. So, yeah, I believe you can. These drinks give you the hiccups. It's not me, like, being all weird, but if you ever had these carbonated drinks, which I'll drink some more, they give you, like, the hiccups, and they make you burp because they're carbonated. But it's 0 calories, so... Hey. You need to own your home. O'Connor Auto Glass Repair. I will own my home as soon as I can get the VA loan, which I got another 1.5 years before my 6 years comes up. Oh, I guess you're talking about the person. You cannot bring dogs when you're in the dorms. Yeah, that's what I said. Like, if you're in the dorms, you're not going to be able to do that. You would have to have one of the homes. What's the difference between 11 Bravo and 11 X-ray? Anything? Yes, 11 Bravo, it is already decided that you're going to be 11 Bravo. If you do 11 X-ray, then the X stands for, it's just a placeholder. You could be an 11 Bravo. You could not be an 11 Bravo. You could be an 11 Charlie or something like that. So that's the difference there. And that gets decided after, and I believe after the basic training portion of basic training. They probably tell you, I'm sure, a week or two before basic is over. I don't think you're banned from the chat. Did you play the video games in the military on your free time? I don't play video games as much anymore. I really kind of just play whenever I'm live streaming and hanging out with you guys. It kind of gives me a reason to play, because it's kind of fun live streaming and playing at the same time. And then the last time I really played a lot was during AIT, honestly. Whenever Black Ops, I think that was when Black Ops 3 came out, wasn't it, when I was in AIT? That was a long time ago. I'm attending RAS soon. Any advice? Yes. The biggest advice is don't quit. I tell people that all the time. If you want to make it through RAS, don't quit. Also, do your best on everything. So. Noland 1812. I'm in Charlotte and a former Marine. Okay, send me a message on Instagram, and then I'll talk to you about it. Because that is something I want to do, like, you know, more locally, doing collabs with stuff, and a former Marine would be cool. I guess Nava's a former Marine now too. Eat your veggies. Do I know anything about changing MOS? Yes, I've got a video on changing your MOS. It is important. I would go in more depth. It's a little bit complicated, but I am going to be getting off this live stream here in about a minute. Thanks for answering my questions. Very informative. You're welcome. I appreciate it. Basic training is easy, right? It is probably easier than you think it's going to be in some areas and harder than you think it's in some other areas. Always a Marine, never former, right? 68 Whiskey and Infantry Unit. That will be, you're basically infantry at that point. For real. Yeah, I'm about to get off of here and go eat some dinner. It is 8 o'clock and I need to eat dinner. I had none of my questions answered. Greg Santana. Okay, I'm going to look for one of your questions, and your question is going to be the last one that I read on this thing. Da-da-da-da. I don't see a question. I don't see one. I'm only going to look for so long. Greg, where is he at? Matt, do you know anything about that quick ship bonus? No, I don't, but I'm sure you would just, it's self-explanatory as far as I know. I don't know any ins and outs or if it's special or, different than what they say. So, I do not know anything about that. And that was the last one, right? Last question. How far apart is passing MEPS to BMT? I'm not sure. BMT is the Air Force, I believe. BCT is the Army. And MEPS is none of the above. So MEPS is way different. Thank you, Andrew. I'll try and let you know about the whole medical, the chaplain question. Like I said, I took a picture of it. But anyways, so yeah, I'm going to go and eat some stuff. And I got a video coming out tomorrow. It's like a vlog. So it is what it is. It's kind of screwed up because my mic died at the end of the video, which I feel like always happens for YouTubers. But literally, this is like the first time my mic has died since having this microphone in like 2 years. So that kind of sucked. But anyways, Wolf MSI Gaming, watch Matt's lane nav video. Yes, definitely watch my lane nav video. Definitely go check out the merch store. And that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the live stream. And I'll see y'all later.